If you're looking for exclusive content, please don't look any further than joining the Trap Talk Patreon family. Some of the best reptile keepers in this industry are part of the Trap Talk Patreon family. As soon as you join the Patreon family, you connect to a Discord. You can also tap into an Instagram group chat, connect with some of the most diverse keepers we have in the reptile hobby today. Shout out to my Patreon members and be ready for Trap Fest 2026. It's going to be one of the biggest events yet. Find all information again in the very first link in the description below. And again, thank you so much to all my fellow Patreon members out there.
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes.
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up.
All right, guys, episode 782, Trap Talk with John Irby, Mid-Atlantic Arboreals, and Dave D, Vibrant Veritas. What's up, boys? Welcome back to Trap Talk.
Hey, MJ.
Hey, dude.
Dave, John, Dave, in case you guys never met each other.
Yeah. I'm doing good. Hey, Dave, how are you? How's Colorado?
Good.
Good
Like,
weather. Good.
Yeah, you're a little lighter out there. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Joining 3 or 4 p.m.
Yeah, weather's good right now in Colorado, huh, Dave?
Yeah, it's getting warm. It's about 85 today.
Yeah, we had a hot day today.
Yeah, it's definitely hot in the south. We had a pretty warm day here in San Diego. It was like 83. But yeah, nothing as it gets in the south. Well, how hot does it get where you're at, Dave? Like your hottest peak time of the year?
It gets over 100 a few days. 100,
Oh, shit.
104 is about the hottest I can remember.
Yeah, similar here.
Yeah, but then you got humidity up the butt over there, right, John?
It's a hot, humid day today. It's 95 degrees today.
Yeah. Dang, man.
That's kind of a fluke, you know. I mean, that's a spike. It's not like, you know,
Yeah. All right. Well,
like 85 or 80, 88 soon.
I figured before we kind of get into the meat potatoes of tonight's episode, I want to kind of get to see where your guys' season's going right now, how things are going. Let's start with you, Dave. How's pairing going? Where are you at right now at this time of year when it comes to your pairings?
I have eggs incubating. Normally I pair in the fall, but I moved in August, so I was going to take the year off. But then impatience got the best of me, so I threw a bunch of snakes together.
Yeah.
And I got a couple clutches.
Sweet. How many eggs?
15 and 16.
Oh, perfect. That's great. Any slugs or just all fertile?
Yeah, they're all fertile. One of the eggs is kind of a boob egg.
Yeah.
So I'll see how it does.
Awesome. What was the pairing on those two?
There's actually 2 females that are sisters.
Okay.
They're they both had blue parents.
Mm-hmm.
One of them has a decent amount of black on her, and then I bred them to a half sibling male that I produced. It's a sibling to the snakes that Socrates got from me, Shadow and Chaos or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was a blue male from Rico bred to a crazy snowflake female that Christian Stewart produced. So the male I held back is kind of yellow and black. He's kind of like his mom, but the mom was a lot nicer. She had a lot more blue. So I'm trying to see if I can get some that look like the mother, but I don't know if that'll happen.
How long has it been since you've moved, Dave?
8 months.
Okay. So everything else is settling pretty good?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And so I'm assuming this fall is when you're going to kind of pick things back up normal schedule when it comes to breeding?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Normally when I pair this late, I have it a few spring clutches, but most of the time my snakes want to breed between August and November, and they don't even show interest after the beginning of the year.
Okay. And that's always been the case for you, right?
Yeah. But it's a new house, so we'll see if they behave differently now.
You have the snakes in a different type of room from like I'm not sure if you have a basement or anything. Is it the kind of the same vibe as far as what room they're in, or is it completely different?
It's a basement. It's a walkout though, so
okay.
More light, but it's nice and stable down there. I have the temperature more controlled.
Nice. Badass. What's up with you, John? How we were just talking in sound check, you know, how great of a year I was seeing that you're having. I mean, does that line up to what I'm thinking? You're having a good year this year?
Yeah, I have. I mean, it had some bumps, but I produced a lot of clutches. I produced 6 clutches.
Nice.
But like I said, I had some hiccups in a couple of them. I missed like a Neo or 2 that didn't make it, but yeah, overall I produced I think over 50 babies. I probably, if I'd have hatched all my eggs, I would have cleared over 60, but I just anyway. But I'm not a females. No. And in fact, what really kind of got me was I kind of overproduced for my incubator, where I got 4 clutches all timed at one time.
Yeah, that happened to me last year.
They were all piled up on top of me, and so anyway, I've got this summer I'm building out this new incubator that I've been needing to do, but you know, previous years I just got like 1 or 2 clutches or 3 clutches, you know, and they were spaced just right that it like I never was pushed to do it anyway. And so this year I was like, all right, I'm not having to do all the juggling and trying to figure all that out. I'm going to build out a nicer, bigger incubator. So hopefully that leads to even better success. So I certainly produced a lot of eggs, and all my girls did so good. They like nobody like got all effed up and all laid. I mean, there might have been, you know, I can't remember every clutch, but for the most part, vastly fertile eggs.
I mean, I think a lot of the stuff you show is pretty prolific as far as what you have, but anything that stands out of the clutches this year that you're most excited about, John?
Yeah, like, well, I produced, for one, the male that I call Dildo, the blue male, he produced 3. This was his first year breeding, and he produced 3 clutches.
Damn, he got to work. How old is he?
He's a 2020.
Oh, sweet. It's prime.
Yeah, so he really kicked on, and he did great. And he got 2 girls back to back, and then I gave him a little break, and then I put him in with another one, and he got her too. So I was like, wow, man, so I'm really happy about that. So it'll be a really nice year to see a good representation of like offspring from him. And I bred him to 3 blue line girls, so it's really nice, really complimentary female. So that should be good. And then, of course, I produced a few Neos, kind of a small bumpy clutch. I didn't get very many of them, but off of Autumn Moon, my yellow and blue girl. And so I'm really excited about those just for personal snakes to raise. And I'll, eventually something will probably come out of those, maybe that I'll make public. But so those I'm raising. And then Dave and I produced, we bought a female, her name's Swamp Thing. Together. We bought her years ago, and she did really well. And we've got, I think, 9 babies from her, which, for a calico female, and look, this female is tiny. I mean, she's only like 650 grams. She's a little girl.
Yeah.
And I think she laid like 10 or 12 eggs or something like that. And we ended up with like 9 babies. So to me, I feel like I got a full little group of them. I didn't get some like 2 or 3. So those will be fun to raise, and I'm real happy with how she came through it. And she did so well. I guess what I'm saying is like, I'm optimistic we'll get to take another shot at it and get another little clutch out of her in the future out of some other male. So
that's awesome. Yeah. I remember you talking about Swamp Thing, you know, previous on this show before. But you finally got her to give you some eggs, huh?
Yeah. I bred her frostbite.
Ooh, oh my God.
Yeah. So
Premeditated or did you just throw them in there? Like what, how did you decide that?
What was the question? Did I what
like did you already knew frostbite was the male for her for like all along, or was
it
like
I mean, I talked to Dave a little bit about it too. I was like, well, here are our options, you know, and
yeah,
I kind of put them out in order, and I was like, you know, this one would be sick, but maybe he won't go, and this one will. And frostbite was reliable and black and blue, and so we were like, let's go with that for the first one.
That snake's so killer, dude. Can you remind me, because I can't stop thinking, who made Dildo? What was the pairing for Dildo?
He's Frostbite's brother.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's off my male Wrangler.
Right.
Bred to a female that Dave produced that I called Mercury. Really, really solid blue girl. She was a true blue. She was a little greener when she first started out, but incredible parents from the best of the best blood, and her whole clutch mates were all really nice. So
yeah,
that Wrangler Mercury clutch was a nice clutch, and there were 5 males in the clutch, and the rest were females, and all 5 males turned out like worthy. They were very nice males. Andrew Kelly's got one of them. Robert Hamilton's got one of them. I've got 2 of them, and then there's this guy. I don't know if his name's Darnell James.
Like I know that name. Yeah,
he's a nice dude. He's produced with them too. That's another thing is they're all out there producing.
That's awesome. Must be cool to see.
They really, I think actually, yes, all 5 males are proven now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm curious, Dave. What are you going to do with those babies? Like, you know, is there a specific route you want to take any of them that you're holding back as far as pairings down the line, or do you not like to think that far ahead when they're so young? Oh, Dave, you're muted, buddy.
Lost your sound, buddy.
Hold on. He said, what the fuck? He's definitely the marshal in this episode. You there? Exit out and come back in, Dave. I'm gonna kick you out. Just come right back in.
I won't ever be the marshal. I don't know why, but I got good.
I don't mind calling you the marshal because you know the fit. You know we
yeah. No, I can take that mantle.
All right. So while we're waiting for Dave to come back, you know, here he is. He's actually back. Let's make sure his volume. You there, Dave?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. All right. Let's continue. So I'm curious, what's your game plan with the babies you get out of the 9 of that collaboration? Like, what would you want to potentially pair that to in the future?
Well, we'll have to see if they're male or females, but
right.
I have some calico line stuff that's been outcrossed with different things, so I'd probably breed it back to that.
Awesome. And I have to ask, you know, again, I'm not fully against collaborating with people. If it's the right person, fucking go for it, you know, but you do hear some stories out there with you two having the relationship that you guys have. How does it work when you get a clutch and it's offset, right? You have 9. So how do you split the 9? What's the rule with you guys?
Well, this particular, so me and Dave bought the girl together. So I own the male outright, and then we own the girl. So we have just some unique arrangement there where Dave's going to get, I think, 2 or 3 or something like that, a third of them.
Okay. Yeah, the girls have.
Yeah, they're going to be from the front end of the clutch. So like we'll go back and forth until his percentage is up, and then I just take the rest from there. In that particular instance, it's a route like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But and with Dave and I, you know, if I don't even know if I would do a real, well, for one, I don't think I'd really do a breeding loan anymore with anyone. I just do it with Dave because it's almost just something for us to talk about and enjoy together, you know? So, I mean, really, it's just something we have a little group chat and we're just screwing around and just sharing pictures and stuff. So it's just fun there, but
yeah.
So it's not as consequential, but I don't actually recommend breeding loans, really.
I'm on the same. Yeah, but again, your guys' case is unique. Obviously, you guys both bring the same amount of heat to the table, I feel like. And so and you guys have, you guys have history. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not like, one's a stranger.
Something just came up, and I was like, man, I just do not want to part with the money right now. It's just kind of like I wasn't in the mood to spend. And I was like, Dave, you want to go in with me? I don't think we need to let her go. We should keep her like in the fam and not let her go off and be in the abyss. And so he was like, yeah, dude, all right, well, whatever. And so we bought her, and then it was Christian, so it was just worked out. So I just drove up and picked her up, and then she just came here, and then she's just been living here. So it's chill, and there wasn't a lot of passing around an adult. We didn't do that deal. I just basically went and bought the snake, and she lives here now.
Yeah, nothing cringes me more than like a collab on something that's been passed around from collection to collection. I'm just, ugh. God.
Yeah. And then so Dave's just going to get snakes.
Yeah.
And then it worked out really well because she was successful.
Yeah.
And then he's going to get a few neonates for that. So that's good.
Dave, and obviously you right now, John, how many females do you guys raise up that end up being pretty small, like Swamp Thing? Is it common at all, or has happened for any of you?
No. Not really.
Yeah, I haven't seen her in person. I don't know how small she is, but it seems like if you give them an extra year, you put on a lot of size. If you wait until they're 6,
right?
But John got Swamp Thing, and she was pretty small, so she was kind of on that smaller track. But I think some of it's genetics, obviously, but a lot of it is how they're fed from the start.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, because again, that's totally true, but I wonder if there's a certain time you could intervene and stop that from being a thing. Like I got this yellow neonate that's pretty high melanism. It's a really nice one that my buddy bred. He brought it over. He's not far from my house, so he brought it over. It's been over a year, and this thing is literally half the size of my holdbacks that were born 4 months after this one was born. And I was like, hey, what are you feeding this thing? And he's the guy who's like, I feed whatever I have in my freezer. And apparently he's had small fuzzy mice for a long time. And he's been hitting them with these small meals. And he's even been giving them back to back, but they just aren't taking off these small meals. So again, I don't know if it's male or female, but I was thinking in my head, I wonder if this is going to be a growth issue at this age, at a year old. Do you think a year old of not being, I don't want to say underfed, but not being fed appropriately would stop them from going the distance? Or do you think there's enough time?
I don't think they get as stunted as much as people think. Because I bought some snakes that were undersized. The seller didn't tell me how small they were.
Yeah.
And I got them and I was like, holy shit, this is a, I don't know, 6-year-old female, and it was probably 500 or 600 grams, which is actually probably perfectly breedable, but it was a lot smaller than I expected. And you just throw some food at them. If you give them small rats or whatever,
yeah,
they'll get big. But to answer your question, I think if they're not fed consistently from a young age, you're probably not going to get to that maximum potential that they initially had.
Right.
Maybe they'll get 800 grams, and if you fed the shit out of them, they could have been 1,000. But yeah, you should be able to recover. And is it a female or a male?
I'm not sure yet. I haven't, it's he told me he hasn't shed any plugs, but it's barely a year old. It turned a year in May. Yeah. So I am gonna definitely sex shed test it with phenome and see if it's male or female. But again, I'm not too worried. It just took went from eating fuzzy mice and literally just took a pretty full-size hopper like it was nothing. And it's perched normal and everything. I was kind of worried because I was like, damn it, man, am I pushing it? But it's crazy how big of a size meal these fucking things could really handle.
Oh yeah. Well, and MJ, what I was going to say was, and I know it's not the same, but it's not 100%, but like your guy, he's feeding him the fuzzy 3 grams, 3 grams, 3 grams. But he could feed it like this one 3 grams, and then 3 days later 3 grams, and over a 7-day period it ate 6 grams. But I swear, man, that thing would grow faster on a 6-gram meal. You know what I mean? And it's just more mass and more developed prey. And so there's, to me, and I this is again bro science, but when their body gets stretched a little bit, they almost like jump up and grow to it. They're like, yeah. So when you're feeding them that meal that's like the same diameter as their body, and they're not getting much of a stretch out of it, it's like the moment you bump them up in meal size, they almost just jump to fill in the meal, they just assume the position,
Yeah, no,
so
right.
Just pushing that little, sometimes you just gotta a lot of people are nervous about the jump. man, it's the best thing you've ever done to a snake. You know, like a snake that was needing that meal increase, man, when you finally get the courage and, you know, there's like 250 gram females and you're like, I'm going to give this thing a weaned rat. You know, I'm going to throw it a fat meal. That's what turns them into adults. They all of a sudden just jump and like start looking adultish.
Yeah. So it's so true. And it's also like, you know, to the untrained eye or the inexperienced breeder, and when you're raising these things, it almost becomes problematic not knowing when to bump that shit up. I mean, some people get complacent and just keep it at a size they feel is safe, but really there's a time and place you got to bump this shit up. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And I noticed that with the basins too, or just in emeralds, because emeralds, they can handle big meals, but there's even a time where you're like, all right, you need to step this shit up. Especially females, you know, because I've seen females could sit at a small size if they're not being fed properly, you know what I mean? But yeah, it kind of just comes with the territory and learning how it goes. You know, one of the things that we're going to get into tonight is, you know, it's been a lot of talk around the hobby on how certain people conduct their business when it comes to inquiring a chondro. It seems like one of the more popular things that I've seen are people putting $1,000 down on a snake that's not even born yet. And again, to each their own, you know what I mean? But I kind of want to go around the horn here and talk about a process that you guys like to do when it comes to inquiries, and then kind of get your thoughts on putting down money on a snake that's not born yet. Why don't we go with you, John? You know, you have one of the biggest seasons you've had this year, so you're going to have quite a bit of inquiries. So what do you like to tell your people, especially repeat business customers? Like what's your protocol when it comes to inquiries?
Well, I tell you what, I've been working hard on trying to like figure that out. And like for a long time, just kind of winging it really, to be honest. And people were messaging and I'm just kind of working it out, but that's a lot to process. And then what happens there for me is it becomes, there's a lot of pressure in that, you know what I mean? And people are, they're excited and they're checking in and they're excited about what's going on and they're just curious and they want to like find out about what's coming up as soon as possible so that they can kind of get an edge and whatever. Well, that just equals a lot of conversations. And you know, you produce 50 babies. It's like, whoo, I really do want you to be happy, but I don't know if I can juggle. You know, it's just sometimes it's a lot with kids and everybody's in lacrosse and gymnastics and we're doing it. You know what I mean? And I love snakes and I want to make people happy, but it's challenging. And so I've been really wrestling with that about, you know, I was telling you, I'm working on a website with kind of a mailing list type approach. And so in some ways I thought I was going to say you should go with Dave first because Dave has got the system, you know what I mean? He really does. And Dave is a little more of a matter of fact, you know, person. Methodical. And so, you know, he's got some qualities that I could emulate there. You know, he's just sets the rules and the terms and the whatever. And so anyway, I'm moving toward that and likely going to do some system where, you know, it's just kind of a little more of a first come, first serve. Like I was telling you recently, I'm going to put a sale out soon. And part of what I'm just going to ask people to do is if you have been trying to get a hold of me, you know, just make sure you let me know, like I don't keep a list or anything because I'm not going to sit there and message 50 people that don't even want snakes now, like a year later. I'm not going to waste my time doing that. Right. But I'm going to put a post out that says, hey, if you've been trying to get one from me, shoot me a message. I don't need a screenshot or anything. I'll trust you. Just tell me about how long you've been waiting. And I'm going to try to put people in order and I'm going to let some neonates go soon. And I'm going to really try to do my best at kind of like a kept you in mind sale, like all the people that have just messaged and I just didn't have anything at that time. I'm going to try to get these in those folks' hands that have been waiting a long time, maybe that haven't even bought anything from me ever before. Instead of trying to like sell it to the same 10 people over and over and over that are always like right there, you know, that's another thing. They buy a baby and then they're just like, they feel like they're in line right immediately. They're like, whoa, I want to spread them around a little bit. And so anyway, that's what I'm actually going to do is a first come, first serve thing. And when people inquire, they're allowed to let me know how long they've been waiting and I'll consider that. But That's
So
it.
John, if somebody wants like more than one Neo from you and it's their spot in line, you make them kind of have to start, like they could get one Neo and then they have to go back from the end of the line, or how's that work?
No, I would work it out. If they were, I benefit from a serious buyer that wants to buy
Multiple.
a bunch of Neos. And so if we get settled in and they're a good buyer that just, it's not crazy town,
Right.
and they're just straightforward and send their payments and it's all fine, then sure, they can buy 3 or 4 Neos from me.
Yeah. And Dave, your process, I mean, I've always admired it since you basically broke it down for me years ago when you were on this show. It's funny because, last year I had a big year. This year's okay. It's decent. I got 27 eggs cooking. But I got people who are like wondering, hey, what's going on? Can I get on a list? And I told them I'm going to Dave D the shit out of my babies this year. And that means I ain't got nothing available. Like I'm going to sit on these. Cause also I got my most potent males that went for me this year. So I'm so curious to see what these are going to look like. But why don't you, for this episode, Dave, go over your process, your inquiry, way of doing things when it comes to people wanting a snake from you and whatnot.
Sure. Well, first I want to address the other part you asked about, which was what I thought about taking deposits for snakes that haven't hatched.
Sure.
I listened to a podcast you did, I don't know if it was Monday, with the ball python podcast, and you guys talked about that a little bit. And I forget who said this, but someone mentioned deposits are good because then you can kind of lock in a buyer.
Okay.
And that makes sense to me in a market like ball pythons where it's getting more competitive.
Right.
So you want to get the sale when you can and not have to worry about it later. But for green trees, especially right now where they're easy to sell, I don't see any benefit to doing that other than creating extra work for yourself because you're collecting multiple payments. You have to run through a list. If you have dozens of snakes and you're going through your list one by one, where you're going to send each of those people all the pictures of the snakes you have available. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with doing that. I think that's what Greg Maxwell did. And I know Garrick does that. I don't think there's anything dishonest about or sketchy about doing that, provided you refund their money if the sale falls through. But I just don't see the point with something that you can just post up, get paid in full, and ship out. As far as what I do, I've never sold a neonate because I want to keep the best ones for myself. So I hold back the entire clutch. And then when I'm ready to sell them, in theory, I'll put all the available ones on my website. And then on my website, there's a contact me form, and that's linked to a Google Sheet, which is like an Excel spreadsheet. And so when they fill out their contact information, it automatically gets put on this Google Sheet.
Oh, wow.
And then when I'm ready to let people know, I use MailChimp. I just upload that list of people. And I think you might find this interesting. I have like 700 people who have signed up over the years.
Damn.
But the last few years, I haven't had much available. So I'll just sell to someone who hits me up at the right time. Or I sold a few snakes in the last couple of weeks, and I'll just put them on my website and not email a bunch of people, because I think that's silly. If I got 2 snakes for sale, I'm not going to email hundreds of people. And whoever sees my website and hits me up, that's who gets it.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause one of the things I always, what I went through last year is, you have somebody who's so interested, even ready to throw a deposit. And then the time comes, it's their time to pick out a snake, and they're either unreachable or they just aren't ready. And it is what it is. It's like, all right, well, if you're not ready to pick a snake, or if you don't have the funds to pay it off, then I'm going to go to the next person. But you're right. It's more work. And it is more tabs you got to keep tabs of. Like, it's more.
And now you've got a new best friend with a deposit placed with you, and he's not ready. And so it's like, my heart would be like, well, I ain't going to keep another man's money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now I'm having to refund it. So it's like, it can never be mine. Like, is it my money yet? When does it get to be mine? Yeah. So that kind of is a pain in the butt. And then you're like, and now I got to give you back money, or I got to have you. And then like that person is waiting with bated breath, like every neonate that you post to be like, oh, are you thinking about that? And you're like, dude, like,
yeah.
So you don't want to then you have all these people on deposits that are kind of lurking all the time. And I have people all the time. They're like, dude, you just let me know. happy to send a deposit anytime. And I'm like, that's the opposite of what I want. What I want to do is quietly breed green tree pythons, get them feeding. People been hitting me up. Like, I see all them clutches. I'm like, I'm trying to have some excitement, but I did it to myself. I'm like, y'all don't know I'm feeding these bitches over here. And this is a lot of stress. And I mean, like, there is not shit available yet. Nothing's ready.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and everybody's like, man, I'll be happy to send you a deposit. I'm like, oh no, we have a conflict of interest there. That's the opposite of what I want to do. Because I know that the internet will sell. So I don't want the $500 or the $1,000 or whatever it is. I don't, you know.
Yeah, and I understand like locking something in, but at the end of the day, what are you locking in? Like, especially when it's not established, let alone not even born yet. And, you know, one of the things I did last year, I didn't collect anything until the babies hatched out and were perched. But even then, some of the babies who I was thinking of letting go, some of them weren't eating, some of them were fucking a pain in the ass. And now I'm stressed out like, great, I got to find a backup snake for this thing when I already told them they're going to get this one. And I don't want to sell them a snake that's not eating, or, you know, like there's just a list of things that go on to pile on top of the stress of getting these things established. And I just,
and they hit you with the feels, and then it's like,
yeah,
I'm going to make this right and wrap this up now. And then you send like a hole back or something to like this. You're like, all right, fine.
Oh yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Your snake's not feeding. I'm just going to make it right because I don't want to give you back the money. So I'm sending it back. I'm going to send you, and then you're sending off your good shit. You're like,
yeah,
I'm being bent around in situations that are uncomfortable that I don't even need to be in. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah, exactly. Again, just kind of adding more to your plate when you don't need to. And again, to each their own. Some people will have a certain system. It works for them. Cool. I just, you know, as enjoyable I want this to be, even if there's no list, nobody waiting, it's still stressful. Like, you can't avoid it. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you want whatever you have hatching out to thrive. Right. But again, like, you know, the stress will come even when you're not looking for it.
The other issue is taking money for a snake that the buyer's never seen.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to commit to buying something I haven't seen. I don't think I ever bought a snake off a list.
Yeah.
Here's a snake that's available. Buy it or not.
Yeah. And then John, you stated something on a post, I believe, that like, for instance, you don't see any experienced breeders or ones who've been around ever throwing money at a snake that's not even existing.
Yeah, for sure. Something, I don't know what I posted, but yeah, I mean, you're not going to, yeah, I can't remember exactly how I may have worded that.
Yeah. But you know, you don't have an issue with people who collect deposits though, right, John?
No, I mean, that's fine. But you know, it's like business ethics, you know. I've been like wrestling, like I've been seeing people like discuss these things, and I was like kind of thinking about it. I made a post recently about, you know, in fact, I stated in that post that I'm really reluctant to take deposits. I don't want to take deposits because I'm trying to reduce my commitments, not increase my commitments, at least during until it's kickoff time. Like when it's kickoff time and we're ready to sell them, I got to get my head right and be like, all right, we're going to have like 10 or 15 really crazy conversations. And this is going to take a lot of conversating and back and forth. So I try to compartmentalize that and don't be in sales mode all the time, because that's a lot of question asking and answering questions and stuff. So
yeah, and how much can the commitment vibe change over a course of a couple months? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have somebody all gun-ho and ready, but then life happens all the time. And so having to wait that period of time where something's available. And again, I've also saw from my own experience, somebody who has money with me and I'm like, hey, your snake's available to pick out, and I can't get a hold of them, or something's up and they just can't do it. And then, like you said, John, I kind of feel bad. I'm like, well, shit, you've given me X amount of dollars. You know, are you sure? Or I don't know. It's kind of an awkward feeling. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm kind of like what you said, John. Like, I'd rather the momentum be when it's ready. Like, when it's ready to crack off and like, cool, you want to pay for this thing now? Well, it's ready to ship, so we could do this. Versus like, all right, let me let you know when it has 20 meals and we'll talk later. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And you can also do things when you're like, you know, you can make it like, if everybody's slipping in the back door and always messaging you, you never get to just make a post that has like some statement and terms and like some kind of way to set the tone and like whatever. Like people are like, oh, I'm ready anytime. I'll send a deposit. And I'm like, I just want to make a post and like, there are the 10 babies or whatever. And I can say in that post things like preference will be given to those that can pay in full. These babies are ready to ship. Yeah. Preference will be given to, buyers within the continental United States and things like that. Because I'm not in the pressure of a conversation. I'm making a post and setting the terms of my sale. I am then blasting it. I'm hitting send, and then you read. And if you like those terms, please inquire. But not these people that are like, and I will continue to help them. But you know what I'm saying? You get this just mixed bag of craziness where you've got like 10 different deals going on. You got that guy on this kind of plan, and that guy's going to Canada, and this guy's going to that. And I'm like, I should just post these things and just sell them all 5 of these to buyers that are ready to take shipment like next week. And then I just sell them, and then I put them in boxes, and next week I sell them. Like, right. So I know everybody's like, well, but damn, I love getting the hooks in you. And then I know there's a lot of buyers that love getting the hook in me, and then they get babies and all that, but I just got to stop all that. I got to stick with a little bit different way of approaching the market.
As I'm sure you guys are already witnessing, the chondro game's growing pretty big right now. You have a lot of people from all over different demographics of the reptile hobby getting into chondros. There's a few people on my Patreon that I vet, and I like doing my best by them. And one of the things I noticed, and I'm not gonna say any names, but a guy was on a wait list for a snake, and he waited I don't know how many months to get the snake. And the snake came in, and he showed me the feeding card, and I was like, you saw this thing was assist fed 12 times, right? And again, it's eating now, and that's fine. But do you really want to spend $10K on a snake that was assist fed that many times? I don't know. And I'm just like, not that he's unhappy with it, but for me, if I'm spending that kind of money, I don't know if I would want a Neo that's been assist fed that many times. I just because, again, that's just me. Like that's a lot of money. Like that's a shit ton of money. So I feel like if you're spending that kind of money on anything, it should be mint as fuck. And not that snake isn't mint. Like I said, it's eating, but I don't know how many times I've had snakes I had to assist fed that did great for 20 meals, and then something happened on meal 21 or something. I don't know. But I'm trying to get your guys' take on how some of these new keepers could come into the chondro game. Like if they were to ask you, if they were buddies with you and they wanted advice, like what's the best way to come in? What would you guys say to that? Whoever wants to go first.
Well, Dave, go.
If you want crazy ass snakes, I would buy change snakes. That's easier said than done because of how many people want them.
Yeah.
But I built my collection primarily by buying yearlings and things like that I already knew were crazy looking. I did buy a bunch of unchanged babies along the way, and almost none of them turned out spectacular. Some of them were decent, but that would be my advice. If you can, buy change snakes.
Change snakes, yeah.
And if you're buying unchanged babies, I would look at the parents. And if you're going to pay $6+ grand for a red baby, the parents better be pretty fucking gnarly.
Right.
Not a green male with a few black specks bred to a green female. Your odds of getting something worth $6 grand are not great if that's the route you take.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I think Dave makes a great point. I think that a great sweet spot for someone is buying yearlings or neonates too. But if I was going to buy neonates, I think blue line neonates are pretty nice in that even some of the greener ones, right, will gain blue over time. So you've kind of got with a blue line clutch, you've kind of got you could get a blue male. That's a winner. You could get a green female. That's still a winner. Or you could get a blue female, or a winner, or a spectrum of that. So there's a high likelihood of getting something like that you could work with, and I guess you can always get it. And then the last option would be like a green male. So there are some things that I guess, if your snake wasn't like the most phenotype popping example, they make really complementary, there are still contributors and participants in the bloodline. But if you're trying to buy like a calico animal, and you want just a freaking showpiece stud male, you probably are going to need to buy a changed yearling. Or if you want a blue male blue snake and you really want to reduce the odds and you don't want to do that whole, maybe I'll have like a 75% chance of getting something good. You want to make it 100%, then you should buy a yearling.
And when you guys say changed, you guys don't mean in the middle of OCC, correct? You're not talking like 18 months or a little over a year. Are you talking over 2 years, or what's considered changed in your guys' book?
Changed enough that you can see the direction that it's headed. So that could be less than a year, because you can tell.
Yeah, but there's been times where you see something insane in a year, and then a year later, it all went away.
Yeah, I think that's mostly with black snakes. There are a lot of black snakes that the whole body turns black and then it fades. There are different types of black that you can see come in on a snake, and some of it's more likely to stick than others.
Yeah, and
you want that good black.
Yeah, okay. And throughout your guys' years, how does the black come in where you feel confident it's going to stick around? Like, what do you guys notice?
Full scales, and maybe even more patchy, but it's deeper too. Like if you see a black snake where the whole snake is black and you can see little specks of green coming in all over, that one's probably going to fade a lot.
Right.
I call that breakdown. You can start to see the breakdown in it, and then there'll just be the good black will be really a lot of depth to it, and there won't be a lot of areas of what I call sootiness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, now there are some snakes that like that soot kind of like fades out, and they're like kind of mite phasey or flecked with black, and that can be really attractive, especially overlaid with a lot of blue and kind of a mottled appearance. But yeah, there will be a lot of blue. I mean, a lot of black on the snake, and then you'll start to see that breakdown, little pixelated green starting to come in, and
yeah. I was wondering if there's a stage too, like for instance, I'm seeing some stuff with mine where some of the black just seem to pop up over a couple sheds, like you almost didn't see it coming, and then now it's here. And I'm wondering if that's more promising than the black stuff that comes earlier. You know what I mean?
Like some snakes will like a big flash of black, like all of a sudden the whole thing will you'll actually see the snake, what I call repigment. It'll lighten up, lighten, and then all of a sudden you'll start to see like scales turn red again.
Yeah.
And those will flip black.
Right.
And sometimes that can be a full swath all over the whole snake. And sometimes those ones that flash real fast, they can be a flash in the pan kind of sometimes.
Yeah. And for you, Dave, what's the, I don't want to say end goal because there's no such thing, but is it the melanism or the blue that's more important to you when it comes to your holdbacks, Dave?
I kind of have different appearances that I'm going for.
Okay.
You got the yellow group, tiger stripe stuff.
Right.
And predominantly black, solid blue, and then mixtures of
everything in between.
Different things. Yeah. And calico is multicolored.
Yeah. What about you, John?
Same thing. I think I do a little bit of work trying to keep things separate, and I do a little bit of work trying to blend things together, like in a complement, like what I call mashups. And I try to like take the yellowest thing I got and the blackest thing and the bluest thing, and to try to pull off these crazy pairings. I think that they're just outrageous looking to see the animals intertwined, and they get a lot of excitement. But the green tree python is like nature's variable snake. You know what I mean? It's got all these, it's so variable. And so I think that you're slamming a blue and black snake and a bright yellow snake together, and then taking those offspring and breeding it to a calico thing. And you just have got to be brewing up, even if those don't look flashy, it's in the background, and you start taking that stuff and crossing it, and you're going to get, it's going to surface, nothing but freaks in the pedigree. I mean, it's going to be good.
But I feel like making the most calico thing is also a part of your game plan too, right, John? Like, you want to keep some of that as, I mean, I know the pure calico thing is kind of non-existing at this point, but that matters to you in this in a lot of your projects, from what I could tell, production wise.
Yeah, and I'm going to try to do some calico line breeding.
Nice.
I mean, and it has been done. I think Dave's done a pairing with calico on both sides of the lineage, or pedigree. But anyway, it will always be a small percentage in there, but we're going to take these things that are certainly emulating what we're trying for, and start slamming some of those super freaks together. You know what I mean? And really pushing the next 5 or 10 years of green tree python is going to be good.
Yeah. Dave, how are you working your calico line stuff? And also, is Tiger Stripe a line of calico, or is that separate completely? I've always wanted to ask you that.
It's a line that Rico produced.
Okay.
So it's totally separate. It has a lot of Biak in it. And then I think he bred a sarong to what's the other side of New Guinea called? PNG? Is it a sarong PNG, John?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Or
PNG, which is PNG is like the most ambiguous term you could use because it's a whole other side of New Guinea. But it's just he just I'm trying to think. I think it was 2004. He hatched a clutch, and he called them tiger stripes because the red babies had a lot of elongated black markings on their sides, so the little stripes going down their sides. And then he had a female 04095 that was his holdback from that first clutch. And in 2010, he bred her, and then he bred her to a Greg. Let's see here. In 2009, he bred her to a male. I think it was a Socrates Pastella male, maybe. And then in 2010, he bred her to a pretty much solid yellow Greg Maxwell male. So those are the two main tiger stripe clutches he had, and I had a female from each of them, and I got 4 or 5 clutches from my 2010 tiger stripe female, and she was quite orange when she was between 3 and 4 years old. And he posted a picture of her on the old MBF forum, and people were all excited because it looked like she was going to stay red.
Yeah.
But she eventually turned a golden color. I got her when he sold off his collection when he was sick.
What age was that when she changed to the golden color?
Probably 4. And
Okay.
some of her
still red a little bit, Dave? Or was she still a little red when you got her, or did you get her all gold?
No, she was gold. Yeah, some of her babies though are keeping oranges, and I have one that's 2.5. It's pretty much solid red.
Wow.
So I think with time you could. What's that?
Say it again, John.
That's the next frontier, red retention.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Think about these chondros. Any color that you ever see a scale get, whether it be like a purple one or like a super indigo, blue, green, crazy color, that snake could have more of those. And so chondros can make some crazy colored ink spots and reds and purples. And so that's the next thing is retention of red, I think, either from the neonate stage or just these snakes with some kind of ink and blotches. And so anyway.
Yeah, if you think about it, the ball's just now beginning to roll breeding wise with chondros. We haven't really broken the mold yet when it comes to seeing their true potential with a lot of this stuff. And I feel like the next decade's really going to determine that. I think we haven't seen shit yet, which is really exciting.
And you see, sometimes they're creamy on the sides.
Yeah.
They get and Dave's Rolo, what we always called her the Rolo calico because he got her from Rolo, but that real nice calico female that he had. And then Dave also had those that snowflake girl that everybody liked so much.
Yeah.
And you can get snakes with white probably all the way. You can probably get a snake with white and a black zipper down it. You know what I mean? And so
yeah. Is Snowflake on your page, Dave? Is she posted here anywhere?
No, she was on my website. I think she's still on my website.
Is that Red Neo on here? or not red Neo, but that red.
Yeah, the one that's still mostly red is on there. Scroll down a little bit. It hasn't been that long because right there in the upper left.
This one right here.
She still looks like that, and she's 2.5.
Wow. And I feel like even on your page, Dave, you don't post your chondros too young. Like these are all well into their OCC, if not already kind of, I don't want to say completed because it could take years to get to that point, but a lot of these aren't less than a year old, right? I mean, except for maybe this one.
Yeah, most of them have changed some.
Yeah.
And I'll post some updates so people, because I've heard some people lately say that they all eventually turn green. And John made a post making fun of that idea. But yeah, there's a lot of those are 4 and 5 years old now. So I should post updated photos. They're definitely not green.
Here's I'll let's see if I can share my screen.
Yeah. While John's pulling that up, here we go. Let me get this up. Ooh.
That's the snowflake female, and that's actually before we bred her. Anything on her that you think is green went just electric blue against that white.
Oh my gosh!
I think she had one clutch. I think she slugged out when this picture was taken. So she does have
blue, white, and black.
How old is she, Dave? How old is she?
She's dead now. She was from 2011.
2011. How many clutches did she give you?
I
think just the one.
I think just one with viable. She slugged out the first time, and then I think I got 10 babies from her.
And it was from breeding where she passed, or she just rolled out of nowhere, or what?
Yeah, she died during breeding a later year.
That's that female that Dave was talking about, the one that was red until like 4 or 5 years old.
Oh, from Rico.
Yeah. Not only all those out there in chondro land, not only do I like snakes that are red and yellow and crazy colors, I love ones with big boss heads on them like that.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, those mean business.
Those big lobes. That's sick.
Have you guys ever had ones that kind of flare up their head when they're pissed off? They almost like flatten out, like when they don't want to be fucked with. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Especially yearlings.
Yeah. They do like this flat face thing, and they're like breathing heavy, and they're just like,
when you first see that, you think your snake's got an RI or something.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I have this B-act who's like, all of a sudden became psychotic over the last couple of weeks, and it does this weird flattened head thing where like the back just becomes flat, but like the head looks bulldogish, and it's like breathing, and it's like, all right, dude, my bad, and I just fucking leave it alone. But and then I heard other people that have like a trait with some of their babies acting like that. So yeah, this one has a good size head on it too. What's the background on this one?
This is a Sky Topaz girl, and this is Banjo. If anybody out there knows,
Banjo, yes.
This is Banjo's mom.
Oh wow.
And then this is her sister. This is Mercury's mom, the bluer girl of the two.
Oh my god. And this is all Sky Topaz, or just the last two you showed?
I don't know if Dave's got that other blue one in here. No. Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, no, those two are Sky Topaz females. That one and that one. And that's Mercury and Moonshine's mom. And that's Banjo's mom. And then that's Mercury and Moonshine's dad.
Oh my god. So
that's Banjo's dad.
So a lot of your beginning stock, John, if not majority of it, came from Dave and the barn?
Yeah.
Dude. And that's another thing too, right? Like obviously people want to come into this and get the best stuff, and there's nothing wrong shopping around with everybody, but like it seems like, John, you knew what you wanted. Like it felt like it was a safe bet just going with Dave D stuff and the barn stuff. Do you think if someone wants to kind of make this process as simple as possible, they should do the same thing, find 2 good breeders or even 3 that have the line you're looking for and just stick with them? Or what do you think? Or is it different now?
No, I don't think there's anything. I mean, I think there's a lot of people. People are starting to produce more. Just depends on what you're into. Yes. Okay. So we don't even have to talk about those guys over there, maybe those guys over there produce the shit you like. All right. So we'll just, whatever. That's cool. That's fine. Yeah. Anyway, so find the people that are producing stuff that just wows you and you're really impressed with it. And it's probably a good idea to, narrow that down a little bit, especially when you're in the beginning and and the reason I chose what I chose is I know so much about bloodlines and stuff. And so when you're in the beginning, you're trying to maybe you're trying to get as much as you can, or and maybe the chondros are tough to find right now. And so, you're whatever, but I like, for example, I know a lot of people that buy a snake from me. Like if they buy a snake from me, I will try to find them a complimentary snake to go with it. And if you think about it, I'm not really breeding snakes to produce product. I'm breeding snakes because I'm trying to produce cool pedigrees and results and holdbacks, and I'm selling those. And so you'll see I'll breed, let's say Dildo to something real tight bred, and I'll breed him to a locality female. And then you'll see me hold back males from over here, and I'll be kind of trying to hunt and find me a female out of my group over here. And that's me picking out stuff I'm going to breed together. And so there's a lot of people that have bought a male and a female, the one notch below my holdbacks, and there's no doubt that that'd be a great way to pair them up, because that's what I plan to do with them. You know what I mean? I'm building pedigrees for sure. So anyway, people could buy multiple snakes from someone like me or Dave, and likely could almost like investing in the same stocks that Nancy Pelosi buys or something,
Yeah, and I get kind of caught in between, because again, I try to advise my people as best as possible, and for the most part, people are looking to buy based off the look, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for instance, if you spend thousands of dollars and you show me a parent and the mom is blue but she's hormonal and she's a locality snake, and you're shooting to make a blue line snake, you're not necessarily buying a blue line snake, correct? If you're not paying attention to the pedigree, and that's not the number one importance for making blue line stuff, how can you even determine you're ever going to make blue line stuff, or even a snake that turns blue?
Yeah, that's a little misleading. I would, if the male was green and the father was blue, I would figure out why the mother was blue. I'd figure out why the female was blue.
Right, which a lot of the times,
hormonal.
Yeah, right. It's hormonal. Most of the times, I'm like, bro, that snake was not blue before breeding, and now after having a clutch or two, it changed into that, and that's not a genetic trait. That's hormonal. And so, and again, people get so excited, they just throw money at this stuff, and I'm like, dude, you need to start studying the pedigrees. I've always, of course I want insane shit, but I purchase based off the bloodline. I look at the family tree, and that's where I invest my money at. And even if it's, not even in crazy looking Neo or something, I still just want the bloodline. That's what I'm breeding for. And it's hard to convince some of these new guys that, because they're gun ho, they're trigger happy when it comes to spending money. And a lot of these guys are from the ball python game, where you buy a ball python based off the looks, and you can make that same snake. And it's not the case with chondros, right?
No, not with hormonal females. I noticed a couple of years ago in the NVF group on Facebook, I counted 3 people who said in their posts that this female is not hormonal, and they must have amnesia or something, because it's not that hard to look for older pictures of that female, and you can see she's 4 years old and solid green. She had a clutch, and now she's like, why the fuck are you saying she's not hormonal?
Denial.
Yeah.
People, and you talk about some advice, talking about buying snakes, and I would say take the route of commit to this route of transparency and commitment and integrity and all of that. It is so easy to get sucked into the cranking your photos up a little bit, and you get the endorphin rush, and people are clicking the like button and all of that. It's cool. Just take your time. It's cool. This is a slow game. It's a slow burn. You know what I mean? And it's all good. And I know that you want to get a logo and a website and buy a snake and it turn bright blue and you'd be like the man tomorrow, but it just doesn't happen like that. And just represent your snakes and be like, I bought this neonate for $5,000 and it's so cool. And it's got some blue speckles on it. And I can't wait to find a complimentary snake to go with it. You know what I mean? And we don't have to try to make it look like it's a glowing neon blue snake, because you want to feel good about what you bought or whatever, just stick it out and like get some more shit and start breeding.
Yeah, 100%. And again, man, a lot of these people's goals are going to take the work. Like, you got to do the work. Like, if you want to have an X looking type of snake, you know, regardless of what you purchase, you have to breed and put in the work to see what that snake is really packing. And that takes time.
I bought Mercury. She was green. I bought from Dave. She wasn't blue. She got solid blue by the end. And I bought Wrangler. And, you know, Christian was like, this is a nice snake. I think you'll like it. It's outcross. It'll go great with those girls. I kind of trusted him at the time. And we were talking through what would make a good mate for them. And he wasn't like a solid blue snake. I bred my way to nicer things. You know what I mean? I got what I got what I could get from people I trusted. I bred them. And then when you breed two things together, there's going to be a spectrum. If you know what I mean? And there's going to be a couple, like the vast majority will probably be on par with the parents, but there will be a couple that are like subpar, and there will be a couple that are like a step above. And that's the ones you want to find, you know, in your early days. And they might only be a notch above, a notch or two, but you start pairing those up, it's going to crack through to some magic, and you're going to get some screamers. And then you got a nice stud male, and you self-produced it, and he's clean and he's healthy, and you know what you're doing then too. By that point, you'll know you'll be a good breeder, and you'll know bloodlines a little better.
Dave, I got a question for you. At this point where you're at in your career, have you ever held back any clutch that all turned out to be screamers and fucking like, holy shit, they're all pretty much on the same level? Or is there always a ratio? Some turn out better. You're good.
Yeah, there's always a spectrum, but I find that if you breed two snakes that are pretty intense looking together, half or more are going to be really nice in the clutch.
Yeah. Have you ever had
I had a clutch of 19 in 2022, and all but one was I would consider a nice snake. Certainly there was a range. Some of them were extreme, but the majority of them were really nice. There was only one that I would say call a green snake.
So there was one ugly duckling.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm pretty sure that one got let go.
Yeah, I sold it, and the guy I sold it to is a friend of mine. I consider him a friend, and he asked me why I sold it for so cheap, and I was like, well, it's green.
You get what you pay for, pal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a good way to look at it too. You know, Dave, I feel like if anyone out there has true intentions of being an honest seller, there's nothing more honest than holding this shit back, seeing what direction it's going to go, and then price accordingly from there. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not like, that's not necessarily why I do it, so I can keep the best ones for myself.
Period.
But it also benefits the buyer. They know exactly what they're getting. I used to probe all the snakes that I was selling, so then they would know the sex too. Now we don't have to worry about that with the sex determination test, because I got sick of probing them. I misprobed a couple.
Yeah.
Pretty hard to do by yourself when they clinch up.
Yep. I can't stand it. Again, I've been there, dude. And even when I thought I was probing right, I ended up misprobing a few more than I wanted to. And I was like, God dang it. You know, I can't even rely on probing. And then there's some people out there like Patrick, and they got the hands to do it. Not me, dude. And I'm so glad I don't need to worry about it. I don't even, probing to me is just sketchy. I don't want to stick nothing up there like a period. So
yeah,
I'm glad with the sex shed determination, you know, being a game changer for what it is. I'm assuming you're going to be wanting to know the sex of your snake sooner than later, Dave, or do you have a certain system you're going to go with as far as when you want to determine the sex of your babies?
Well, I have some yearlings I'm going to be selling in a few months. So I've started gathering their sheds.
Yeah.
And John, we're on the topic of sex determinations with chondros. How do you plan on utilizing that?
So I've done it before, and I really liked it. And, you know, it was a great way to part with some babies. Like what I actually did was, you know, like a blue line clutch, the majority of the ones that have the best chance of being a super blue, which was what I was on the hunt for. Like I had paired those snakes I had just talked about. And I was like, man, I'm looking for those anomalies, and that's likely going to be in a male. So I was able to sex them. I kept every single male, and then just like the best looking girls, and knowing that I was going to be like good with whatever they turned out to be. And then I was able to sell some actual female neonates, which blew people's mind. And then like they were really super happy about that. And in theory, like now I'm like, well, see, you don't have that whole 75% thing we were talking earlier, and the 25% of you're getting a girl. So I was able to charge a premium. You're getting a female. You can also start feeding that animal from an earlier age a little more aggressively, like while they're in that growth spurt stage, and put a little more size on them. Just knowing that information early enough to get onto it, like get after it. That's incredible info to like raise a breeder female. So anyway, I did that and I really like that. But I was like getting ready to post this post with some babies for sale, and they will likely be sold unsexed, right? Because I just am not going to go through, like I'm going to pick out 10 babies that I want to sell. And I just don't know if I want to go through the whole, like, well, I want that one and I don't want a male. And I'm just, hey, you know, this is the I kept you in mind sale, and these are unsexed babies. But I may sex some holdbacks for sure. And I certainly will probably discontinue probing things just because there's no need now.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Let's get some of your guys' take on pros and cons with, there being sex determination now for the chondro community. Anything that stands out for you guys? I mean, obviously we know what the pros are, but are there any cons that, especially as being the seller, that you guys are concerned about or anything like that?
Oh, what John mentioned about it making it more difficult for a seller, because now you have people picking and choosing what they want. That's one. I think long term, it's probably not beneficial to the chondro market or any snake market. I certainly think the MORPH shed testing is not good for the ball python market. Anything that speeds things up and makes it easier to produce nicer stuff, that just makes the race to the bottom happen even quicker.
Yeah.
So I don't think it'll have a big impact on chondros, but it's not a positive in the long run. It's probably very slightly negative.
What do you think, John?
Yeah, one thing that when I was doing that stuff, now I was just focused on picking out holdbacks. I was like, and it worked. I was able to keep all those males and sort them out, and then also satisfy people. And some people have got some badass blue line girls that they're raising up now because of that. That's sweet.
Yeah.
But during that time, I was raising some Gila monsters, and I told them, I was like, man, I'm doing this thing with this sex testing. I hear they're trying to come up with one for Gilas, because Gilas are also very difficult to sex until they've got some size on them, and then you can ultrasound them. So I was like, and he was like, I wouldn't do that anyway. He's like, everybody would all be just bugging me to death about getting the girls. And so I just thought that was an interesting take. He came right off the bat and was just like, this thing that's so impossible to sex. And he was like, I have no interest in that. I figure out the sex when I need to, when the time comes. I don't,
Yeah. So and I can see as somebody who's just coming into the game, how vital sex shed testing would be for that person, because again, people don't want to start off raising 6 males and 1 female, and they got to wait 2 years till they find out. But as me, I'm well into my chondro keeping career, where I know what I got. And for instance, anything I got from Dave or anything I got from you, John, it wouldn't fucking matter to me if it's male or female. It really wouldn't, because cool, if it's a male, I know what female to put it to. If it's a female, I know what male to put it to.
And I'm at that place in my. I actually got to a place where, because you're learning too, MJ, you can't keep an animal from every clutch,
right?
Because then you're keeping like 5 and 6, or like you can't keep, like I used to be like, I'm going to keep a male and a female from everything I produce, and then it was like, man, then it turns into a single neonate from every clutch, and then it turns into like right now I'm like keeping just like the best couple of snakes from the entire year, you know. And so some clutches I'm not keeping even a single neonate from, because you just can't.
I'm kind of like trying to hide my face, you saying that, because I have 27 holdbacks from last year.
I know. What are you going to do with them all? And so
I'm going to sex shed them and sex shed test them, and you keep, individually letting them go. But, again, at the end of the day, like I kept back which I thought were the best. Like there's a reason why I did not let any of these go, because I want to see what they do. So also I'm on a time crunch, because now I have 27 more eggs in the incubator, which will do fine in the baby rack. But then again, once those snakes need to be moved up to 15 quarts, I'm fucked if I have all these 27 still here. So I got about a year.
So now I just keep the most extreme shit I produce. I'm like, that must stay here.
Yeah.
And I don't care what it is. It just has to stay here. That's the safest place for it to be. It'll actually, I know people, it'll benefit chondro world as a whole. Let me just keep it here. I'll try to produce some more of them, make more for everybody. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, I just basically keep super freaks now. That's all I basically keep.
On top of still letting freaks go, you know, which is great. And I've seen Dave do that. I mean, I'll never forget when fucking Socrates picked up Shadow and Chaos. My fucking jaw hit the ground. I'll never forget how impressive it was just to see those snakes in person, Dave. Like, they were fucking incredible. And you know what's crazy, Dave? I got a offspring from Shadow. Did you see that clutch that Socrates had, Halloween to Shadow?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I got Sock says I probably got the pick of the litter or pick of the clutch. So I'm happy I actually got some of your bloodline in my collection now. Mm-hmm. And John knows I'm on his bumper for sure. And I can't wait, man. At the end of the day, I just want the best of the best, dude. And I try to tell people that who need advice, who want freak shit. And I'm like, dude, go find the best of the best who are doing it. And again, study the bloodline. I mean, it's not that complex. Like, if you know how to look at pedigrees and lineage, it's not that difficult to find what the best shit is out there. You know, it's all documented. But again, I don't know. I think that just comes with, you know, getting your feet wet in the chondro game. And right now, one of the things that a lot of people feel like that's happening is the stage of FOMO, like the fear of missing out. And that's why a lot of people jump in the gun and just fucking putting $7,000 out on a snake, where it's like, dude, what's the pedigree on this snake? Oh, I don't know. The mom was blue though. Okay, slow down here. You know what I mean? But you know, they're gonna learn. I mean,
and that's why the real pedigrees are important to maintain. Like, you don't have to nerd out and rattle off all these like pedigree numbers and things like that. And I can't even anymore. I kind of know one error, one chapter, like when it was less. There was like Trooper, and but like, you know, the 5 or 6 pairings that Mr. Blue produced. So it was really easy to understand and kind of be an expert in the blue line. But now there's like everybody's producing tons of stuff. So, you know, it's a little scattered. But I was thinking about that, like, you don't even need to know that. Like, Dave doesn't like to rattle off all that stuff, but he understands the basic concepts of these. There's these animals, or at least these lines, these lineages, and, you know, you're doing a combination of trying to put them together sometimes, as well as all bring in some fresh blood. And it's just a dance of that. And so understanding like line breeding and the pedigrees and how to put them together and which animals are of note and how to blend them a little bit. It's not hard, but you do need the real pedigrees in order to do that. Like, if we got boiled down to just like, they sent me this PDF with some 3 or 4 pictures and like some lines that go to my snake. I'm like, well, that's a fucking hormonal female and a male. And the picture of the male is like when he was 2 years old. Like, he doesn't even look like that anymore. Like, that male does not look like that anymore. That was when he was young. And that female is like a hormonal female. And you're like, what, dude? And there's no, but man, it's like that PDF looks badass. I'm like, well, it does look badass. That does look like an incredible male being bred to an incredible female. But that's a hormonal girl. That's just a locality. She's completely unrelated to that male. You're hoping that his blood hooks in and finds something that's compatible. But really, it's going to be a big deviation in blood, right? It's going to be a big outcross. So the likelihood of green is high. And then again, that male, or lots of times, doesn't look like that anymore. And that happens all the time. And that also has been happening for a long, long time. Back in the day, digital photos were harder to take, you know, and you took them and you like then edited them and then you put them on your website. So chondros like lived in like perpetual standstill. And in fact, Dave, on his thing, on his
website,
you took that off the screen. Good job, MJ.
I didn't see what it was.
It was Dave's thing was still up. It was like,
my bad. Sorry. Yeah, you're good.
But on Dave's thing, you know, if you click on those photos, here, I'll just show you. Share screen. Collection. All right, we looking at them again?
I don't see it.
Not yet.
There it is. There it is. All right.
So like all of these things, that date right there on Dave's photo, that's when that photo was taken.
Got it.
And Dave's trying to let people know that so you can get an idea of
The current
that
state.
these things that even in adulthood, these snakes change over time. Like I bet you this male right here, where was he? I bet you this male right here, 5 years later, that flecking and that black has changed in some way. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like 5 or 6 years later, he's probably.
Has it, Dave?
Yeah, he got bluer. I don't know how much black he's lost, but he got bluer.
But anyway, lots of these snakes have probably it's just a maturing. It's not a bad thing. It's just, but they change over time. So anyway.
Yeah, I tripped out because, we had the passing of Versace, the legendary snake that Marshall's had for 22 years, I want to say. And when he was kind of going back in time and posting Versace at a year and a half, 2 years, he was far from just fucking grass is green. Like he looked amazing. He looked like a designer. And then when he passed away, he was just a pure green snake with a little wart on the top of his head. So clearly there's some maturity stage that these things go through throughout the whole stage of their life. Now I think they all have different changes, of course, but nothing really sticks to what it is at age 2, 3, 4, 10 years later, right?
Marshall saw that one through to the completion of the color change.
Which is nuts. Yeah, seriously. But yeah, even with you, Dave, right? I mean, I don't know. Do you feel like with your specific projects, none of yours really age to the point of just looking green? They either turn blue or something different, or do you even have some that go just green?
Not snakes that were crazy looking that eventually turned green.
Right.
But yeah, I have some females that have a little bit of black flecking. I imagine in 5 or 10 years that'll be gone.
And with male versus female, females tend to do the most changing, especially at an earlier age than the males. Would you guys say, or is it the other way around? What have you guys experienced as far as like drastic changes in adulthood?
I don't know if there's a difference other than the hormonal factor.
And I think a female, sometimes you'll see these females with like, it's almost like a biak. I'll just use that, but it also happens in designers. These snakes that are like gaining blotches. Yeah. And it does seem like when they go through a hormonal thing, that'll go ahead and kick that on in. And you'll see a snake, like there was a snake, snow cone back in the day that Rico had. And he showed some photos of her over the years. And, when they go through these things, sometimes, there may have been some green kind of held back and clogged up in there, just in these insane OCCs they're going through. And anyway, obviously when they breed, there's just hormones that occur, and it just seems to fast forward a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. And on the topic of hormonal, I mean, not every female goes hormonal, correct? Like that's not a guaranteed thing. It's almost kind of a coin flip type thing, right? It could be random.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe John.
But a big electric change is, not all of them.
And then it's even 50-50 that it even stays that way. Sometimes they just, after birth, they go back and to their regular look, correct?
Yeah, it seems like if they go through it 2 or 3 times, though, I think it still eventually turn solid blue.
Right.
And some females can go hormonal even without being bred.
Oh, really? Just are changed just for like, because they do build follicles even if they're not being bred. There's still something going on with the snake.
Yeah. I don't know if they're pulling some kind of vitamin, like vitamin A, out of their skin. I imagine that has something to do with it. The eggs need some vitamin or mineral, and that happens to be in their skin. That I don't know if there's any science that backs that, but that's my guess as to what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, well, even from what I could tell with my females, there's a little glow they have for sure when they're in the middle of that follicle building or whatever's happening. They have this type of like premier shine to them, and they look fucking awesome. Yeah, and so I think it's interesting how all this could be across the board. Not predictable. It happens when it happens, and sometimes it doesn't happen, and sometimes it does, and it sticks. But for you, Dave, if you have somebody you're chatting with who wants one of your babies, but they are specifically asking for something that has to do with blue line stuff, do you have specific projects that you work that are more headed towards the blue line stuff, or is it just kind of all over the board?
In the past, I'd say most of my clutches have been blue to blue.
Same for you, John?
Yeah. Now this year I did produce those 3 blue clutches. And I always will, that's like in my opinion, that's just kind of like, that's the foundation. And then from there, I do blue melanistic stuff and calico stuff and but I'll always maintain a nice, I won't ever like just take my blue males off in a direction and like not ever try to focus on producing blue stuff.
Yeah, because I don't know how many recent inquiries you guys had, but I'm telling you right now, people wanting blue stuff is going to be a normal thing. I'll tell you that right now. And so, and again, when someone comes to me, I just tell them, go look at whatever you're shopping for. Just look at the pedigree. But then again, there's some people that don't stick to the blue line stuff and they kind of mud it down or they go different routes. And so that's something for people to consider too. Like, even though you got something with blue line lineage, you got to see the duration of the offspring working up to the baby. And some of that blue line stuff becomes less and less and less depending on the pairings, right?
Yeah. I look first at the appearance of the parents. I probably wouldn't buy an unchanged baby that I was hoping would turn blue. It came from green parents, but blue grandparents. Like John said, there have been plenty of pairings where 2 green snakes have produced blue offspring, but those green parents had blue parents of their own. You don't want multiple generations of green snake if you're selectively breeding for blue.
Right.
So if you did have those green parents that you're breeding for blue, you got to hold back the clutch, the entire clutch. Like John said, you're going to get 1 or 2 that are spectacular. You keep those, and now you have some really potent shit to work with.
What do you think, John?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with Dave 100% there. I mean, you're going to, I mean, it's just like he said, if you keep them all, you're going to keep a few that are going to be winners. And even those might not be all the way like what you're heading toward, but it's a process, and they're all really valuable, and they're all really, they're all able to contribute if you like if you do appropriate things with them. Right. So like, so you buy a blue line neonate, it turns into a green male. Well, you're like, damn it, I didn't get one of the flashy ones. But you can still steer that in that case, into like the most potent direction. You're like, in fact, you'd almost want to, find it a real banging female to kind of pull it back in the right direction. The last thing you want to do is take that snake and then you go and breed it to like an Irby or something. Right. And then you're selling blue line outcross animals, and those just don't have any chance at like really turning to blue. And then those animals, and so sometimes, at least years ago, there was almost like 2 branches of the blue. There were the people that were doing like a serious job of line breeding real, true, these super intense blue snakes. And then there was like, there'd just be these clutches that were for sale and stuff back 8, 10, 15 years ago. And there'd be the ones that were 10% blue line to Irby to PNG to this to that. And they just bred away from it. And so, they all are able to be used if good choices are made with them.
And again, I think good choices is fucking being good at holding back. One of the things that again, to each their own, but I see people get success with the clutch and they're instantly concerned about making money off of it, which is fine. But like, if you have something that's blue line, but it's a green snake, and you put it to something that's pretty banging, how are you going to know what you're letting go of? And when it's that young, you know what I mean? And again, like, I just feel like, I don't know, if you're working some cool stuff, you got to see what's cool. You got to sit on what you think is going to go the distance. And that doesn't happen in the first 6 months.
Especially those early clutches. Just hold those back. Raise those clutches. See that whole group go through a color change, and you'll just be you'll know more about what's going on at the end of a few clutches like that.
Yeah, and again, I'm glad the hobby's I'm glad the Chondro game's growing, but it's like money right now. Like, it's like, how quick can I turn it around and flip it? And it's like, dude, This is not fucking ball pythons, man. Like, this is not how this works.
Ball python, these things, man.
Yeah, and again, ball pythons is you get what you get out of the egg. There's no change. Like, that's, if anything, they dull down. You know what I mean? With chondros, they get better, but you don't know what's better until, you know, at least that fucking year mark, you know?
Yeah, you can't selectively breed something if you don't know what it's going to look like. If you're picking your holdbacks based on what it looked like as a baby, you're not setting yourself up for success.
Yeah, well, I mean, right. You're selectively breeding them and you're getting the less than best ones.
Yeah.
But we're supposed to be directionally breeding towards something for some goal. I mean, whether you're breeding a racehorse or a blue snake, we're picking out some traits and hopefully a good combination of them. We want to be hardy and healthy and a good reproducer and a good feeder and all that good stuff. And then we're trying to get this color. But if you then sell the good ones, and they end up in everybody else's collection, and they don't. He's just a hobbyist. That snake never gets bred, and then, you know, you're keeping the worst ones, and then doing the whole occasional bad decision and breeding it in the wrong direction. You know, and the next thing you know, you just kind of got subpar stuff, or at least
fuck that
for the goal.
Yeah,
for the goal. Like, you've got really wonderful green tree pythons. You've got great green tree pythons. There's nothing wrong with them. All green tree pythons are a special, nice, wonderful snake. They're really magic. If you hatch a clutch, everybody knows it. The first clutch you ever hatched, you're like, holy shit, this is so cool.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you're trying to breed for blue, be strict.
Yeah.
You're breeding for a goal.
And I'm kind of glad I was raised the way I was, eating shit in this game for 7 years straight, because I mean, the last thing I want to do now that I'm here is hold back subpar anything. Fuck that. Like, I want to be the one to hold back the best of whatever it is that I'm making. And I know the game plan for that is sitting on it and letting it change and watching it grow and, you know, going the distance with it versus let me turn and burn, you know? And again, to each their own. I know there's people out there who throw money into this where they can't wait to make some money back. But I don't know, man. Like, that's why I fucking tell people, don't go in so hard. Like, you don't need to fucking pull loans out of the bank. You don't need to find partners to go in on you to drop 50,000 your first fucking year collecting. I don't know. Like, it's crazy to me how there's a rush, you know, like, what's the rush, you know?
Yeah. Brian and Dave and I, we have like a little group chat that we talk, some friends, and we were actually just talking about this the other night when we were saying, like, you know, we kind of started this thing just loving green tree pythons and lusting over them and buying the ones that were cool. And then it just kind of grew into something that we also, you know, sell and share with friends and make a little money off of. But we didn't say, like, oh man, I want to get an investor and, you know, put pen to paper and draft up a business plan and all of this stuff. And that just kind of came with time. So anyway, I just, you know, that's always almost in everything in life, check your motives, you know, just check your motives and just make sure you're doing what you're, you know, whatever. But you know, that's going to drive you. If you show up and all you're like, I'm getting investors, and you're just approaching it like
stressful.
You're approaching it like, and then you're going to buy stuff, and then they must it's like an asset. It's like you bought a tractor, and now that tractor is meant to perform a piece of equipment, and it's supposed to have a certain amount of output per year. And if you're not getting your investment. And so people that are jumping into it like that, they're like, I bought this thing, it must now grow, it must now make babies. And
oh, do you want to know one of the worst things is? I haven't seen this happen in a while, but holy shit, you find somebody who probably spends, I don't know, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 on a Neo, and then it turns out to be a fucking freak of nature, like something where, holy shit, this could have been a $12,000 Neo if we knew this was going to go that route. So they fucking sell it and they make money off of it. And I'm like, what the fuck? You just because that couple extra thousand you just made off this snake? I don't understand that, dude. And again, it's been a while since I've seen any of that kind of energy, but I've seen it and I don't fucking understand it. I'm like, if you got the best of something, why would you let it go?
Yeah, that's short-term thinking.
That exactly. And again, there's nothing short-term other than sex jet testing about chondros. Mm-hmm. And again, you don't want anything short-term because I feel like the more shortcuts you look for, the worse it's going to be for you. Like this This is the long game, plain and simple. Even with sex shed testing, it's all about the long game. And I didn't get in at this time. I got in at a different time. But even with sex shed testing being what it is, like, fuck it, male or female, I don't care. Like, if it's something I want and it's from somebody I've been wanting something from, let me just get it. That's it, And that's just me, of course. But
those calicos, we'll probably do those because we're going to split them in that way. Dave can make sure he gets like a male on, like if he wants it, to ensure that he gets a male and a female neonate to raise up.
Well, do you care? Do you care if it's what's male and female coming from that club?
Not really.
I mean, fuck it. You got 3 males, that'd be sick. You'd be pretty high chance you'd get one that was good looking.
Yeah, that is best case scenario. A crazy ass male
and one that's good looking is worth all that it needs. It's like, fuck it.
Yeah, it pays for itself. There you go.
Yeah, one really smoking, good looking male that'll breed. Shit.
Yeah. On the topic of males, again, like I get people want to be female heavy, but I feel like having a good stock of males, even backup males, is something to consider, right? Like, I mean, you can't always just bet on one or two males.
Yeah, I have about a 2-to-1 ratio right now, males to females.
Okay.
I have like.
So you're saying you have 2 times the males than you do females?
No.
Oh, the other way around. Okay.
I have like 14 males and 30 females.
Oh.
But yeah, you need males that want to breed. Some of them don't want to breed, and if they don't want to breed, you're kind of fucked.
Go ahead, John. What'd you say?
I said I had that same setup. I have half the size group though. 15 females and about 7 males.
You even have males that did a great year or great breeding season, and the next year they were like, "No, I'm good. I'm not breeding this year."
Yeah.
What about you, John? You ever have a job? Yeah.
It could be like the female thing. Some males will just go in there and get it done. Some males need the table to be set a little bit. Like the female's got to be a little more well-timed, right? So,
yeah. Female has to smell a certain way.
Yeah, just got the time, right?
You almost have 4 categories of males. You have the ones that never want to breed. You have the ones that'll breed if everything's just right. The female has to be cycling. I had a male, that blue male from Rico. I think every time he bred, the female laid.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like ideal. And then you have the males that'll breed regardless, any time of year.
No matter
what. Those are the ones that get you excited, but doesn't mean anything's going to happen.
I think I've had one of every of those, other than a male that never breeds. Like I've had some that take longer than others, but they eventually, pick up on it and they go to work. But have you ever had a male that hit 6, 7, 8, 9 years old that never bred for you guys?
Yeah.
Wow. But it's not common though, right, Dave?
No. Well, you see it.
Yeah. Well, I know. Trust me. I've had people ask me to do an episode on what to do to get males to breed. And, at the end of the day, I feel like, it's a maturity thing, but I guess there are cases out there of males being super fruity and they don't want nothing to do with females. And that's the case.
Yeah. Maybe 1 out of 20 or 1 out of 25 are like that. And of course, without an ultrasound, it's hard to tell what's going on with the female. So
yeah,
you might not want to breed with the female because she doesn't have any follicle growth.
What's your experience with that, John? How many times have you had a male you raised up and it just never bred for you?
Not often, but like right now I've got Warzone. I'm trying to breed him every year. He's a really incredible male. I mean, I know a lot of people would be excited about it, but he's cuddled a female, but he's just not. By about 6 or 8 years old, they normally get it together. I mean, even those late bloomers. So I'm hoping. But yeah, he's about the only one right now. He's kind of one of the longer holdouts.
So Warzone's never sired a clutch for you?
Not yet.
Wow. And is it 2020 or when was Warzone produced?
2019.
2019.
Is he on your page, John?
Yes. He's not my snake. He's owned by Lucas Sepe over in the UK. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And when did you sell him?
Oh no, he's Christian and Luca had some arrangement where that snake became Luca's. But Luca didn't have any interest, or no longer, by the time all of this kind of fell together, Luca didn't have any, didn't want to take this. His interest had, there's Warzone right dead center, the black one.
This one right here?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oof.
And now that's permanent black. I mean, he's held that forever at this point. He's 7 years old.
Oh. But he's with you, though. Right?
It could change a little bit, but he's not going to go. He will not lose all of his black over time.
How's this one looking right now, John? Let me see this one right here.
Just like that still.
Really?
That one is serious, dude.
Oh my God. And what, this is like 2, or how old is this one now?
He's 2.5.
Oh my Lord.
And he's definitely the blackest thing I've ever had. And I looked at him compared. Now, Frostbite has lost a ton of black, but Frostbite is all blue line.
Right.
And this guy's got that calico X Factor thing. And that's kind of what Warzone, and Warzone is his uncle. Like, I knew that. So I was like, all right, well, Frostbite went through the black phase, and it was super intense and a lot of blue. And I know that blue line pairs well with calico. And I was like, and Hot Stuff's brother is Warzone. And I was like, so there's black in there, even though she's yellow. And that's why I went for it. And that's one reason. I was like, all right, maybe there's a connection there, and I can extract some black and some black that'll really stick around.
Is that a male? Is that a male?
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
So we'll see.
Insane.
We'll see if he holds it to like 4 or 5 years old.
And is that like when you like to pair your males up around that age, or when do you feel comfortable pairing your males up?
Well, actually, this clutch had, I don't know, 4 or 5 males in it, and Chad got one.
Yeah.
And
he was 20 months.
And he paired it.
Yeah, and he did the job. I remember.
And he got the job done. So I kept 3 males back from this clutch. And my theory there was, again, I was like, I damn sure ain't going to keep just one. And he turned out to not breed, because I had kind of this whole Warzone not breeding thing in the background. That was nagging me. And I was like, I ain't having that happen again. I'm going to get 3 males. And sure enough, one of them is going to breed. That's kind of my theory. And then when Chad proved his out, I was like, damn, not only will one breed for sure, one might breed this coming season. So I'm going to take all 3 of the males. I'm feeding them pretty good right now, just to kind of get them a little bigger. And I'm going to rotate them around and see if one, I bet you, again, it's an odds game, right? It's like out of 3, I bet you one of them goes. Yeah. It's just who knows which one will go, and then people will be like, why didn't you pair that one with the black one? Well, or with the orange one or whatever. So anyway, but it'll be whichever one breeds. If one will lock up a girl, I'm down.
Yeah,
right. I might be able to take that male and back breed it, which would be a line bred calico thing to swamp thing, stuff like that.
Did you name this one yet?
Yeah, that one's called Black Velvet Elvis.
Oh, that's right. Okay, fucking killer name.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, all I could think about is Super Freak. This is like Super Freak. This is a Rick James Super fucking freak right here.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I know. I get to now. It's kind of what Elvis is going to do to me, is going to allow me to break and go down some music names.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
That's awesome. Dave, you have anything that stayed this black?
Probably not quite that black, but I have a 4.5-year-old male.
It has blue, right? It's black and blue?
No, it's black and green.
Okay. Amazing.
I have a black and blue female.
So, John, perfect pairing to this male would be what? Like, if it was up to you?
So like, its brother is this one I call the Rizzler, and it's going to be a solid yellow snake.
Is he on here? Is he on your page?
Probably. And to what degree? Is he going to be creamy yellow or come on down?
The Rizzler.
That's him right here.
Where
to the right. To the left.
This one right here?
Actually, yeah, that one. And you could kind of click back 2 photos. Go back. Go back the other way.
Oh.
But those aren't very recent. That's a year. That's over a year ago.
I probably could. Yeah.
Who's this one?
That's Captain Crunch. That's their brother.
Oh, my God. So is this another related one?
That's the Rizzler.
Oh, my Lord.
So if you go up to the top, the very like the newest photo, that one, that's Captain Crunch.
That's
But the Rizzler looks just like that with no black.
Okay, but super calico looking.
Yeah, well, he's just going to be I don't know if he'll be like a bright yellow or kind of a gold or like a cream, but he's fading out. He's going to be just a yellow. He's going to be in the high yellow category for sure.
I remember seeing this caption and busting up, but he put, "Did you know that by the age of 35, all calico line chondros turn green?"
I used to do that shit. People would complain about PVC pipe off gassing, and I would say things like, did you know that studies show that after 30 years of exposure, a green tree python will have cancer from PVC off gassing? And then someone was like, I didn't think green tree pythons could live that long.
They ate it up.
I just leave it at that. I'd be like, yeah, studies show 30 years.
Yeah, man, that stuff's smoking, dude. And again,
so then I could take. Have you ever seen that snake I call her Gold Digger? And Dave produced it off that tiger stripe stuff.
Is she on your page? Can we look at her?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's see.
Let's see. But go ahead and keep talking. What about Gold Digger?
Well, I was going to. You said like, what would be the perfect mate for that black male?
Right.
And so the choice there would be things like I could take Gold Digger and breed her to like something like the Rizzler, and that would be a yellow to yellow pairing, and I think assuredly produce very, very, very yellow snakes. Where is she? You're on Instagram. So it might be some stuff on my that's a Biak.
Which one are we looking for again? What's the
She's just
right there in the middle.
And that's pretty close to what
yellow one? The yellow one?
Yeah, 3 pictures side by side.
Okay. Oh, here's Gold. Yeah, Gold Digger. Man, she gives me a nice Biak vibe for sure.
Oh yeah, and she's got some Biak. That's that tiger stripe calico stuff. So I could breed her to the yellow brother, and that would look cool. It'd be like one of the most epic high yellow pairings. It'd be so incredible. Or I could do the mashup, which would be to put the black male with her.
Right.
And that would be just gnarly. And of course, if she lives and can keep going and she turns out to be a female that has lots of clutches in her, I'll do both. But anyway, I mean, the genetic, and that's the crazy thing, is the pedigree would be the same.
So this was about 2 years ago. So what does she look like now?
Well, I guess I could pull up, I just kind of distribute them between Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, if you want to pull it up, we could pull it up. I'm just curious to see what direction she headed into, how much more green she has.
Yeah, I got the photos of her.
Wow. And so, Dave, real quick, while John's pulling that up, how many pairings are you looking for next year? What do you now that you're moved into your house and you're all settled in? What's the game plan looking for breeding wise in 2027?
Well, I made a spreadsheet, and I think I have 20 or 22 pairings I could do.
Oh my God. Damn.
But since I hold back everything, I probably want like 4 clutches.
You're right.
So maybe I'll do like 7, try 7 and probably get 4.
7 out of 22. So you're going to definitely have to do your homework on what 7 that is, I'm assuming.
Yeah. I'll pick the 7 best ones, and then maybe I'll be able to give the females a year or 2 years off since I have so many.
Damn. Elite chondro breeder problems. That's what I want.
All right. So here's a Rizzler.
Nice.
And like this photo was of him a little behind.
Okay.
And then he moved to here, and he's just on that same, like, man, he is golden right now.
Look at the head. Like, that's what's amazing is the body and then the head. That's just.
And it's basically just connecting, dude. And he's going to be like this lemon, and like all that white on the side, it almost looks blue. I just don't know. Like, and that's kind of what I was saying is like, is he going to be a golden snake? But if they get that creamy white on the side, one could breed one toward and achieve like a full white one.
Right.
That'd be sick.
Do you have a current pick of Gold Digger by chance, Dave, that we could look at? John, that we could look at?
Yeah, sorry. I've got
You're
to, man. Got to, dude. Look, where's.
And did you end up selling your Bullens, John?
I did. Yeah, I did.
Damn.
Dang, dude, if I not posted her any more than this? Oh, here she is, a little greener. She's got probably a solid green head now, though.
Okay.
But her body is just pretty much just like that still.
So how old is she right here in this picture? 2?
She's
a 20.
When were they born?
22.
22. Okay.
So she's 2, and then by now she's 4.
Okay.
She's getting close to pair her up.
Yeah.
Like
no
4
shit.
to 3 months old now.
And the Rizzler's how old? He's 2?
2.5. I could pair the Rizzler to her next year.
That would
or Elvis.
Oh, dude. I mean, anything Elvis is fucking paired to is going to be insane. And jaw dropping as far as pictures of it showing them locked and all that. Hopefully, he's a good breeder for you. I'm rooting for you.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, man, exciting stuff. All right, well, listen, I got a wrap up topic for you guys, and just straight from the hip, dude. What's your guys' advice? Whoever wants to go first, for anyone out there who's been, here's the thing. As much as I was commenting on how many people are in a rush, there are people out there doing their homework. Like, there are people who've been watching this podcast and watching you guys, and they're methodically ready to come in, but they're doing it the right way. What's your advice for those people that are maybe on the fence? Like I said, they've been studying the game, but they're not too sure yet. What's a good way to get these people in the water?
Whoever wants to go first, John.
How to get in? Are you saying like
that first purchase, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like they've done all the research. They're just unsure how to get that first purchase out of the way, or just how to do it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like dipping your toe in the water and it's too cold and you're scared to jump in. How do you suggest someone to make that first move, John?
Maybe you don't want to buy like I would spend some time learning about what kind of chondros I like. If I like the blue ones or the calico ones, and then I would try to understand a little bit about those pedigrees, a little bit, but not much. But, and I guess maybe you might not try to go for the most extreme stuff, but I would try so maybe you don't want a really, really extremely expensive snake to begin with, but I would try to buy something that was going to be complementary to my eventual goal, so that I didn't buy a throwaway. Not that any chondro, but you might. I guess what I'm saying is you might say, well, I want to get a beginner snake because I want to I'd get a beginner snake that was at least in alignment with my goals, instead of I'm going to go buy a $250 Biak and then some farm bred thing, and I'm going to learn the ropes on that, and then later, once I know what I'm doing, I'm going to buy a blue line snake. Well, I would just say buy an entry level blue line snake.
Yeah. What do you think, Dave?
Probably take this different ways, but what came to mind was having a plan to buy a group. And like we talked about, some males won't breed, so you want multiple males. I don't know, maybe 2.4 would be a good group, or 3.5. More males or more females than males, and then you want snakes from different pairings that work together, that are compatible. And then down the road, you can cross males to females that you haven't bred before, and then you have second generation snakes that you could breed together if you want to be in this long term. Yeah, something like that.
And again, it really depends what your goals are too, right? Like what are you shooting for? Because again, let's say you're oh, I want stuff that's blue line or calico, and then I want stuff that's high yellow. You're saying you'd want to have that ratio per project?
Yeah, I think so. And we've been talking about designers this whole time, but I think you have some badass BX. I think you should selectively breed some BX and put me on your list, even though we've talked about how lists are stupid. I want to be on people's lists, but I don't want to keep a list.
Well, Dave, I want a list just to have you on it. So here we are. I'm gonna write your name right now. Dave D, #1. BAC list. All right, buddy, you're on it.
Similar to what Garrick is doing. He's taking these really outrageous, really nice examples of, in some cases, locality animals. Maybe some of them are crosses already at this point, but man, anybody that was putting together exception chondros are selling for a premium right now. They are, and people are appreciative of really all forms of chondros. that are like fine examples. Man, if someone was pairing the most banging Arus together or the most together, you'd have interest in them.
Yeah, sure. I mean, dude, David's boy, fucking Brian Fisher, he has some killer pure Aru shit, dude. And he has nice BX stuff. You know that bet me and Brian have, right, Dave? How he said fish is going to turn 50% green by the time he's 3. I got what are we at? Oh, I got 6 more months, dude. 6 more months, and I'm gonna get a free red Neo from Brian Fisher because he told me my BIAC that is probably fucking 92% yellow right now is gonna be 50% green by the time he turns 3. Said it in front of my face.
Yeah,
and best believe
it. Should have said 4.
No, he should have said 4.
He should have said 4.
He said 3. We're rolling with 3, dude. Bet's already made. And what I'm pissed off about is like he has a Neo ready and it has 1 eye. And I'm like, dude, that's fucked up. I'm not mad. You know, it's a nice one, but you're going to send me a Cyclops, dude.
Right. That's how he's getting out of this predicament.
No, man, but it's, you know, again, like Dave said, as much designer heavy this podcast was, I have a line of BIAC that I am so passionate about and is important to me. And I feel like that's definitely should be someone else's importance when building a really, really solid collection, man. You know, those pure localities should not just be skipped at all, especially if you have a good line of them, you know, because that's one thing we're going to see in the near future is what these localities could do bred in a line throughout the years in someone's collection. I mean, look at the Monocory stuff. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought some baby BX from Mark Miles. He had 2 parents with decent amount of yellow on them, and both were red adults. So I didn't buy them to breed to calicos or anything. I'm just going to keep my eye out for some really nice BX.
Cool. Well, I do have some good news for you, Dave. I mean, I held back 6 pure BX from last year. And, you know, I'm just trying to see what route they go. But if any of them turn the route I would want for you, I'll hit you up. I'll let you know. I'll hook you up with one.
Okay. Appreciate it. Yeah, because you have some with a lot of black, right? And then I know you have some with a lot of yellow. So you should pair the ones with black to the black ones and the yellow ones to the yellow ones.
Yeah, well, the yellow to yellows are more important to me. Anything that's high black, I put that to designer. But I am like, my goal is to put fish to a couple pure BX next year. One of them a really nice high yellow one, and another one a really high melanism one. I mean, definitely a goal of mine. So we'll see. But yeah, thanks for making my day, Dave, saying you want to be on my list. John, I know I'm not there for you yet, but someday.
No, I'll take a BIAC. I need to keep a BIAC kind of in the pipeline, and I need to keep like a Manaquari or something in the pipeline. You know.
All right. Well, I'll put you. Listen, I can't put you number 1 on my BIAC list because Dave's there, but I'll put you number 2, John. Okay, so
I'll take it.
Yeah. All right.
When I fail to send you money, when I disappear, or when I tell you my car broke down, I can't pay you, you can reach out to John.
Well, hold on. Aren't you going to send me a deposit, dude? What's going on? I'm just kidding.
I'll have to settle Dave's debts.
I need a non-refundable deposit, Dave, or else I can't put you on the list. All right. No, man.
Yeah, send me your Cash App. I'll use Venmo. I'll send it today.
Oh man, listen, boys. I have my ear to the concrete, man. I listen to what a lot of people are saying, and you two are fucking killing the game. Keep inspiring, keep fucking doing your thing. Doesn't go unnoticed. Appreciate your guys' time on the show. John, where can people hit you up at if they, want to talk to you about inquiry? What's the best way they could do that?
Well, you can, and it's up. I have a new website. It's www. That part I think is important. I think there's a setting in there. I'm new to web design, but where you could just type in midatlanticarboreals.com. But I think currently right now, the way I have it set, you do need to type in www.midatlanticarboreals.com. And it's just a basic landing page at this point, but you could put your name in there, and I'm going to move toward that system. And then you can find me on Instagram and Facebook.
And especially for people who are seriously wanting to inquiry, that's the best route. Go to your website.
Yeah, do that right now. Yeah, we're going to move toward that.
Okay. And Dave, same thing for you?
I don't want any inquiries. I don't have anything for sale. Hit John up.
John. Go to John.
Dave, when I had all the clutches starting to line up, and Dave's like, I'm moving. I don't think I'm going to produce anything this year. I was like, oh, thank you, Dave. I appreciate that.
It's very nice to you, Dave. All right, guys.
Take the year off.
But anyone who wants to be a part of any list, Dave, they just go subscribe to your email, correct?
Yeah, and I hope to get better at breeding these things. I think I'm getting it dialed in. I feel pretty good about how I have things set up now. So hopefully I'll get back to the rhythm where I would like to be able to post a dozen on my website at least, and then blast everyone, and so people have a chance. So think happy thoughts.
I do have a space available in my mentorship program on my Patreon, Dave. So if you want to join it, I can teach you a thing or two. All right.
All right.
I'm just kidding, man. All right, guys. John Irby, Mid-Atlantic Arboreals on IG, and Vibrant Veritas, Dave D. Thank you so much for coming, boys. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll see you next time. All right.
Thanks for having me, man.
All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. All right, man. Great episode, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If this is your first time listening in, please do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. Select all. You'll be reminded in every episode released by the network 7 days a week. And hit that like button, man. If you enjoyed this episode as much as I did, please hit that like button. And, of course, this is going to be available on Patreon before it's released next week. And if you want all exclusive episodes, if you want to go ahead and get ahead of the curve on any Trap Talk with MJ on Thursdays, the best thing to do is go and join my Patreon. Click the very first link in the description below, and you will get access to all these episodes before anybody else, okay? So, again, I want to say thank you to all my Patreon members out there. Thank you to anyone who watches and supports Trap Talk Reptile Network. You guys all matter to me, so your guys' support does not go unnoticed, okay? And the support is growing. After 6 years, we are still moving and grooving, man, and that's a fact. So, guys, thank you so much for this episode. It is in the books, episode 782. Thank you again, John and Dave. Amazing episode. Quick word from our sponsors, and I'll see you next time. Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. Shout out to tonight's sponsor brought to you by ZooMed.
ZooMed is proud to be supporting the Trap Talk Reptile Network. At ZooMed, reptiles are our passion. For over 48 years, we've been creating premium foods, supplies, and habitats for reptiles and other exotic animals. We're a company made up of hobbyists that test our products on the hundreds of animals that we care for here every single day. Whether you're an established breeder or a first-time hobbyist picking up your first ball python, ZooMed has you covered with everything you need to keep your animals happy and healthy.
I'm excited to talk about this new product with ZooMed called the Slither Sense. It is a remote temperature and humidifying monitoring system, which we all know how important temperature and humidity is to your reptile. And for you to have remote access to your temperature and your humidity in your reptile room could really, really be a game changer for the longevity of you keeping reptiles. So guys, make sure you check out that product. Find the link in the description below. Click on it right now. Give me your feedback in the comments below. Let me know how you're liking a brand new ZooMed product. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Mark Hager over at Texas Chondros. If you want to talk to somebody who likes to put people on the map, you have to go follow TX Chondros on Instagram. He has put on some of the biggest breeders out in Texas out on his platform on Instagram. Also displays some of his own amazing projects on his Instagram. You could also simply go to his website, see what pairings he has going on for this season, and also see his previous productions. Mark has been working with yellow neonates on top of red neonates, and his passion for this hobby is second to none. He's also mentored a lot of people like myself. So thank you so much, Mark Hager, for all your support. And if you guys really want to know how it is about building a community, then you got to go check out Texas Chondros. Thank you so much, Texas Chondros, for all your support. Cannot wait to see what you're all about in the 2026 breeding season. Shout out to Focus Cube Habitats, the #1 PVC enclosure in the reptile industry. Hands down, everything you guys see behind me are 3x2x2 PVC design enclosures by Stephen and Ashley over at Focus Cube Habitats. My entire room at this point, all Focus Cube Habitat enclosures, and that is for a real reason. My reptiles love them. I've had majority of these Focus Cube Habitats behind me for over 6 years now. So guys, if you're looking to expand your reptile room and get yourself some new enclosures, no better place to visit than Focus Cube Habitat. You head over to focuscubehabitats.com and see how many different design enclosures you could choose from. And you can also follow them on Instagram and stay updated with all current new enclosures on their YouTube channel. So thank you so much, Stephen and Ashley over at Focus Cube Habitats. And I think I got new enclosures in the driveway, so I gotta go. Shout out to Focus Cube Habitats, you are the best. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Mark Bailey Reptiles, my mentor and definitely my favorite ball python breeder we have today. 40 plus years, full-time reptile keeper. He's just been a huge inspiration ever since I met him. And also, if you really want to see what his work is all about, you could just simply go to MORPHMARKET.com, type in Mark Bailey Reptiles, give him a follow. And anybody who has gotten a snake from Mark Bailey Reptiles have been super happy, and that's going for 40 plus years. So very honored and very happy to not only call Mark Bailey Reptiles a friend of mine, but also a sponsor of tonight's show. Definitely appreciate your support, Mark Bailey. Definitely look up to everything that you do. Shout out to Mark Bailey over at Mark Bailey Reptiles. Shout out to tonight's sponsor, and that's the one and only Morph Market and Morph Market Shipping. One of the biggest exciting things about the reptile hobby over the past couple years is Morph Market Shipping taking everything to the next level. Anything as far as reptile purchasing or selling needs can all be done on Morph Market's website. So I highly suggest you go check it out, especially if you're in the market of purchasing your first, second, or third, or fourth reptile. You can find a bunch of legitimate breeders on Morph Market's platforms. They stand very tall on representing the best breeders we have in the hobby. So don't look anywhere else when it comes to looking for your new reptile. Not to mention, if you're looking for aquatics or your next plant, Morph Market's a spot for you as well. Make sure you head over to morphmarket.com. And the best thing about Morph Market's platform, you could ship directly from their website with Morph Market Shipping. Morph Market Shipping has saved this hobby millions of dollars as a whole. I myself saved thousands with Morph Market Shipping last year due to their insanely cheap rates. So definitely go take advantage of these rates on top of the amazing customer service that comes along with Morph Market Shipping. Shout out to Darian and Zach, and shout out to the entire Morph Market team. So proud to be a part of this team. Thank you so much for Morph Market Shipping and Morph Market, and so excited to announce new Morph Market features that are going to be hitting the reptile hobby real soon, like live sales on Morph Market. Thank you so much, Morph Market and Morph Market Shipping. Thank you for all the fellow support. Thank you so much for anyone who watches the Trap Talk Reptile Network. Hit that like button. If you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, you'll be notified of every new episode dropping here out of the network 7 days a week. And also by hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, it pushes this network out to other new keepers coming into the hobby. So by you doing that, it does more than you think. So thank you so much again for all the support. And if you're not already a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. We're doing big things over here and we really appreciate it.